We are three friends exploring connection from the coffee shop to the podcast studio. I'm Amy.
I'm Anna.
I'm Aaron.
Welcome back. Here we are. Episode number 5 here, folks. Today we are going to be talking about what's up with women.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, topic, women friendships.
Yeah.
What do you think, ladies?
I think this is a good one.
It's gonna be a good one. You know what else I think is also really good?
What?
What? Anna?
We edit podcast.com.
We edit podcasts is badass. Awesome.
They're so awesome.
We edit podcasts.
They have been helping us with all of our editing, and
They've been so crazy good.
and they're fantastic.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to give a shout
good.
out to them.
Yeah. And you can get 20% off your first month by using the code Less Alone Podcast.
Yay.
So definitely get in on that.
Definitely. Huge help.
Want to sound professional? We edit podcasts. Weepy.
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 Maybe.
Yeah, they are amazing. So our last episode's challenge. How did that go? That was the I statements.
So, we had the I statement challenge. And then what if the person doesn't accept your I statement? That was the discussion, right? How'd you guys do about
do
that?
the I statement challenge, we don't know what happens when they don't accept it. So
Aaron, do you have a confession for us?
the confession is I did not do the homework or the to-do, Amy.
Neither did I.
Me neither.
Okay, well, at least we're honest.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
All right. Yeah, better like next time.
Hey. But if you did the I feel challenge, let us know about it because at least someone did it.
Yes.
We'd like to know. So
we'd love to hear from you.
Well, and it totally works. I feel like I just didn't have like the situation where I was like, oh yeah, I got to do this. Like I needed to put it like a sticky reminder or something on it to be like, I feel.
Does it help that I helped my clients with this? That counts, right?
That totally counts.
It was in your it was in your consciousness.
Yeah,
Right.
totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's see. Let's go on to any updates or news about the podcast.
Well,
Anybody?
Yeah, so I have been finding myself thinking about a few things from the last episode. And one of the things was that Erin said that she's in awe of when people are able to stand in their truth. And I'm curious, what does that look like? I'm like, I kept coming back to that. And then I kept thinking like, but what does that actually look like? So I need to ask you about that.
What it actually looks like is if someone, it feels like there's an energetic power in their center and someone stands firm on the ground and they're rooted and they're able to just show up and there's not this energy of insecurity. It's just this real raw feeling of whatever it is. And then they just show up with who they are. And because they're showing up with who they are, whatever the information is, and there's no shame around what they're saying, then it's like super, super powerful in that. There's a certain level of power. I think people always talk about like a power over, and it's not a power over. It's like a power within. It's almost like this like iceberg comes up energetically from someone's center and like they stand in that. And so I feel like I can feel that. And it's something that I want to be around and I admire in people and want to emulate and be more like that.
So it sounds just like a really solid foundation that you can pick up on. Is that right?
Yes. And like a solid,
like a vulnerability and honesty type?
Yeah, but like just solid in your center.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. A real power.
I'm trying to get you to dumb it down for me here. Just get it real dumb for me.
I like to be around them.
Okay.
Right?
That's good.
Dumb it down. How?
Dumb it down for me.
Dumb it down. Like, ask a specific question.
So, when someone is standing in their truth in your presence, it sounds like it's a feeling that you get from them. Is that right?
Yeah. So, I energetically get that because I am super sensitive on a lot of levels. So, energetically, I can feel like that person is sharing their power, and I feel like energized. I feel like solid in my center of my body, like from my belly button through the center of my body.
Okay.
I feel like strong.
Okay. So you're someone who's super in tune with.
Yes. As if there's like a energetic light within someone's center and it's radiating out and I'm in that radiance.
Oh.
That's what it feels like.
Oh, that sounds great.
That's interesting. It makes me think about like misery loves company. You know,
Oh,
like
yeah.
if you have a miserable person, then other miserable people tend to, you know, join in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like, I mean, it sounds like it's just like how similar energies probably feed off of each other,
Absolutely,
or
yeah.
at least like they're magnetized to
Well, some people have
other-
similar vibrations, and so
Yeah, oh,
then
yeah,
you're
okay.
attracted to that.
Yeah.
And so I think that I like that, and I want to be able to. That is something that I aspire to do, is stand in my own power. And so when someone's doing that, I feel very, very inspired to be like, they have a lot of courage in that and super brave to do that because that's just how they walk through the world.
Wow.
And I think so many people carry around so much shame, and I had to work through that emotion for a long time.
Yeah.
And so there's no shame in that. It's like just people are in their
It
truth.
sounds like a not a blooming onion. It sounds like a tree.
Yes.
Like just so solid and like
yes.
just the roots and
Yes.
like walking with the roots.
Mm-hmm. Great. Yes.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. One more
She
question.
dumbed it down successfully.
Thanks, Aaron. I really appreciate it.
It's just
job,
really being
Anna.
a tree, Anna. That's all.
That's a really great job, Anna.
Being a tree. All right.
Fantastic
Noted.
job of dumbing
Noted.
it down.
Walk with your roots.
Noted. Will do. Add that to my to-do list.
Check.
So that last episode, I felt it was really heavy. Anyone else?
Well, I don't know how you talk about toxic relationships and keep it light.
Well, that is true.
I mean, I don't know. The whole topic was kind of like,
Yeah. Yeah.
It was hard.
It was hard. And I was telling these two that I talk about toxic relationships and those kind of dynamics with people probably every day in session with
yeah.
people. And so
Yeah.
they're a real thing. And I don't know that necessarily it's not really talked about
Yeah.
often. It just kind of feels bad. And so I think that it was super important to talk about that because, yes, it's heavy, but not
Yeah.
when you talk about blooming onions. So
Right.
True.
Right.
True.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I feel like
Did it bother you? Like, did the heaviness bother you?
that's a
in
good
a-
question.
Yeah, very good question. It
Hey!
It didn't bother me because I kept finding myself calling that episode like, oh, that episode 4 is such a buzzkill.
And Anna called. She was like, "It's a buzzkill," and I was like, "Anna, that was like information people actually, I think, need to know."
And
Yeah.
then I listened to it like multiple times,
Right.
you know, like with the editing and like the re-editing and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my word, there's so much good stuff here. Like, why did I keep having that feeling of like, oh, it's a buzzkill? And I mean, that's my own shit, apparently, that I need to work through.
Well,
and find out and
But
Right.
maybe
it's just
like
kind of interesting.
you like the podcast for its fun and
Yeah.
and like maybe that was just a hard one
it was
for
heavy,
you. Like
yeah,
that's
it
not
was-
really what you want the podcast to be.
Well, then after you said that, then I was like, "Oh, I'm so serious all the time. I gotta stop being
Oh.
serious." And I was like,
no.
"Oh,
But
shoot!"
you said the
I'm serious too.
You said
Right,
the
yeah.
most amazing things.
But I mean, like that they're yes, we can have different energy
Yeah.
on the show, but
Oh,
it was
yeah,
just
yeah,
like.
yeah.
It's just like, oh, the buzz. I'm like, that's a great episode. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is a buzzkill. And so I'm like, oh,
That
like,
was maybe
why
not-
am I so serious all the time? That's what I was
that
thinking.
was
Yeah.
maybe like not the most sensitive way of me.
Right.
I think it's good though. Ultimately, I think
Yeah.
it's good.
Yes.
It's like
Yeah.
we'll be laughing on here. We'll be having heavy
Yeah.
stuff on here. We'll whatever, right?
It's just real. We're keeping
we'll
it
cry
real.
It's
at
just
some
like
point.
coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will
exactly.
cry
Yeah.
at
We'll
some
cry
point.
at some point.
Undoubtedly.
Yes. Yeah.
I think I may have already.
Right. I think you're right.
And I have a special request. I wonder if anyone in their basements. Aaron just looked at me like, "What are you going to say?"
180.
Here we go.
Here we go. Yes.
Okay.
Flipping on its head.
Special request. Check your attics. Check your basements. Does anyone have the Dear Abby pamphlet? How to be popular. Please find it.
And you said that was a Dear Abby one,
Dear
right?
Abby, how to be popular no matter your age, something like that.
Do you have any idea when it may have been coming out,
No.
published?
80s maybe, 90s? Yeah, just like a regular old pamphlet
And
with
you
her
said
face on it.
She's not alive. Is her Ann Landers alive?
No,
They're both dead.
totally dead.
Shoot.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
So
someone's got to have one.
someone's got to have one.
Yeah.
Or maybe you are related to them and you have that in the archives of the family.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Does anyone know either of their family members?
If you do, we would love to interview you.
You can call it.
Let's just get that out there.
Yeah.
What's our voicemail number again?
Oh, yeah.
That's a great question.
Sorry.
Oh,
I don't have it memorized. I literally don't have anyone's phone number, even ours, memorized, but I can find it super quick. And in the meantime, we can talk about other stuff.
Totally. So in the meantime, while Anna's looking up that phone number, I am going to read a 5-star review by Wendy B. The title of her review was "We All Need Connection, Truthful Podcast." And then she went on to write, "Loved hearing these ladies talk about connection. As a busy adult, it's sometimes hard to find the time to connect with people within the different levels of friendships. Their podcast is totally honest and certainly makes you feel like you're not alone in your thoughts around friendships and expectations." And we just want to say thank you so much, Wendy B. We love hearing from all of you, and we so appreciate your reviews and especially those 5 stars. But seriously, thanks a lot, Wendy.
Thank you so much.
And it makes me feel, I say this often, but it really makes my heart smile when it's just super cool.
It's so cool.
It's super cool.
It's like the best thing to know you're not just talking into the abyss, and just to like know that it's resonating with people.
Yes.
And we've heard great feedback about people listening to it on their drives to work, and they feel like they're having coffee.
They feel like they're having coffee with us.
Yeah, and that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's like our goal.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great.
So, okay,
Did you find it?
The number.
Dude, that's amazing.
What?
I want you to share this with me.
I totally can.
You guys need to talk about what you're looking at right now.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You can.
Oh, so Anna busts out her, on her phone, one of her contacts has all the information that we need from the podcast, from the phone number to the email address to all the things.
All
and
the social media.
all in one place. Of course, Anna thinks about this because this is how her brain works.
And I put our logo in
and
there.
It's fantastic. So I want you to share that with me.
Way to go.
Done.
I will share that. So
Well
our
done.
number, call us with any question, any relationship thing,
Anything about Dear Abby?
anything about her, 775-591-8860. Give us a call, and I am going to share this with Erin.
You can share it with me too,
Oh,
Anna.
okay. I'm going to do that right now before I forget.
All right.
Okay. Done.
All right, everybody. We are moving on to the topic of the day.
Yeah.
So, what is up with women?
Oh, this is a big one.
This
It is a big one.
So this is like frenemies, mean girls category.
And also really
Amazing.
solid, amazing women.
Oh, yeah. I'm saying like,
yeah.
what like the
Full spectrum.
yes.
Full spectrum. Thank
Full
you.
spectrum.
Full spectrum.
Full
Yeah.
spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like when we talk about friendships, like women in particular have a lot to say about a lot of catty bees.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like that comes up a lot of like,
I don't have time for that shit.
yeah, like drama and like
Yeah.
cliques, like all the bad things. And I always get so sad when I hear people say that they have no relationships with women, or when they just,
Have you ever experienced that?
the cattiness.
No, like, have you ever been on the side of like, ugh, women I have no relationships with, or like, have
Yeah.
you?
I've been on the outside
Yeah.
for sure. And it's way better to be on the inside.
Yeah.
It sucks to be on the outside,
Yeah.
big time.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, it makes me sad to think that people don't have close relationships with women. And
Yeah.
so I think that's why this topic is so important. What do
Because
you
in my foundational support through my
Yeah.
life is my friendships with women, and had really strong people to support me and
Mm-hmm.
lift me up. Like that's helped me grow as a person. And I don't know what I would do if I didn't.
Yeah.
There is definitely a sisterhood.
Yeah.
I mean, there, like, the bond between women friends is strong.
Yeah. And it's
And
amazing
it's something like,
when it works.
yes.
Special.
Yes. It is something
It's special,
special.
right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's why it makes me feel so sad when I hear women
Right.
don't have that. And
Right.
so, you know, we've talked about connections and friendships in the past couple episodes, but I think addressing women with women friendships is super, super important.
I agree.
But so growing...
Don't you think, though, like so much of the cattiness or whatever comes from just general insecurity?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, ultimately, it's like,
No doubt
it's
about
kind
it.
of like what you were talking about with the tree, Anna's tree, or like, like being okay in your like body. But I mean, really, truly, like for someone who's super insecure, or I think it's really hard not to be a total bee, especially when you're around another woman who is in her tree or whatever is a tree. It's just like, I don't know. I think that's also a sad thing. I think when I think about it, it's like, oh, that's really...
I'm going to skip to that power thing because it fits in here. And so part of my thing when we brought up this topic about wanting to talk about women relationships is because I was somewhere with my husband last year, and he was going to introduce me to this colleague or something. So he was like, well, I don't know if you're going to like her. And I was like, okay. And then I met her and I was like, oh, I like her a lot.
Yeah.
Because she could be in her power and I could be in my power, and we could be in our power together. And I didn't need to be small. She didn't need to be small, and we could be like strong together. Oh. And I think that when cattiness starts then someone gets like tripped up by someone else's standing in their power. And so that kind of dynamic, because I think that comes from a place of women trying to like get to a seat at the table or like fight for male attention or whatever is happening, all like that thing, it triggers the hell out of me because I don't understand why we all can't just be in our power. Because if you're in with the three of us, right? Yeah. If we're like, we celebrate each other and we want to lift each other up. And so that kind of dynamic, when it's effective, is so powerful. And it's so like, to feel like people have you and like got you is something that...
there are no words.
Yes.
I mean, really.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's that idea of like that all ships rise when the tide is high.
Yes.
Like, come on, get in the boat.
Yeah.
We're rising.
Right.
We're doing this. Come on.
That we don't need to cut each other down.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And it's like, if someone else is succeeding, it doesn't mean I'm less than.
Yes.
Or like not able to succeed. It's like we can all win. And we can
come on.
Yeah.
I think it's taken me a long time to get to this place, though.
Say more about that.
I mean, I just feel like competition through and through, which I think ultimately was all about insecurity, or like this, competition ultimately, right? Like wanting to be loved, or I don't know, the competition around who's friend, or like all that stuff. I totally went through that, and I think everyone goes through that for sure. Yeah.
I think that's a part of like adolescent growing up, and like then through college, and like even early, I think in your 20s, and then thank God we turned 30 and then almost 40 so we can drop that shit.
Yeah.
Because it's exhausting.
But I don't think though I don't think it's automatic. I do think like it takes personal growth. I agree. And like you got to work on your shit.
Yep.
To get to a place where like you can be in a ship next to another ship who's also rising with the tide and like feel okay about it.
Yeah. Right. And I think like to be able to check yourself when you're being super judgy. Like I heard someone talk like, well, when women take down each other, if like I am, as an example, this was the example that I was listening to, and they were like, well, if I have issues with my own ass, right? And I look at someone else's ass, right? And I'm like commenting on her ass, like, oh, she's got a big ass. That's probably because I have shit with my own ass. Yeah. And so like if I'm commenting, does that make sense?
Totally. Of course.
Yes. And so like if I'm commenting on like, well, her energy's too big or whatever, that's because people tell me I'm too effing much all the time. Yeah. And so then if I'm getting judgy about like if I'm not in a good space and I'm doing that, even currently now, then I'm like, oh, dude, check yourself. Like that's so not, and then it just feels gross.
It's just looking in a mirror.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm like, oh, that's a really good mirror about what I feel insecure about right now. Oh, that's great. I'm going to go home and cry about that.
Because like her ass wouldn't bother you if you were fine with your own.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's right.
You got big butts.
But cannot lie. You I want to go walk up with an itty bitty wrist and a rough thing in your face. You get bro. That's good. Oh, that feels good. Okay. Oh, there's that.
Yeah. Anyway, look in that mirror, though, right? I mean, it's looking good.
And look at that. Look at that fun.
You can do outside bends or sit up. Oh, please don't lose that butt.
Yes.
Okay.
But I do think though, like looking in the mirror, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a good practical tip right there.
Yeah.
Good practical tip. Okay. If you're being judgy, B, what are you being judgy about?
Look in the mirror.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really about you.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
So you guys both grew up with siblings.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And they were, well, Anna, you have a brother.
I do have a brother.
But Aaron,
I had
no
not-
brothers.
No brothers.
yeah. And you have one?
I have one sister and I have 3 brothers.
Okay.
So, yeah. But
So-
what was that like for you, like growing up, or what was how do you think that's affected, or has it affected your relationship with female friends
I think,
or guy friends, really?
oh, yeah. Well, I feel way more comfortable with women
Me too.
generally.
Mhm.
And I haven't been able to relate to the idea of like only like not having women friends. I do understand the hesitation there, but I haven't been able to relate so much. And I feel like super lucky to have sisters and like women that I'm close to. And I continue to seek out women that feel like sisters to
Yeah.
me because of those relationships that I grew up with. But yeah, as far as guys, like I do have some guy friends, but yeah, it's just different.
Mm-hmm.
It is different.
They're not sisters.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, I grew up with 4 sisters in my family, but must have been an oops because my oldest sister is just 12 years older than
It's
me.
nice though that you don't know,
But,
or do you?
well, I don't know.
You were super surprised.
Oh
my.
Oh, hey. Great.
Everyone's in college and we have a newborn.
Hey, not quite.
Hello.
So my oldest sister is 12 years older, then 11 years older, 8 years older, and then 6 years older than me.
Oh, that's not
So they were
big.
around, but then I was in the house with my mom it was like I was an only child. So it's like
Yeah.
I have
Oh,
sisters,
yeah.
but then I
It's
was
like
an
my
only-
siblings.
Yeah. 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 So yeah, we only had women in the house. And so for a long time, I had like the boys in the neighborhood that I'd play King of the Mountain with
Oh yeah.
in Home Run Derby. That was awesome. That's what happens when you're the biggest kid ever. Me.
Big butts.
Hey.
Totally kidding.
I'm just imagining kid Aaron with like a huge butt now.
Oh no! I was this size in 6th grade. Are you kidding me? Like,
Were you really? You were really tall when
I
you
was
were.
huge, massive.
Oh.
I feel like this is 6th grade. Do you know how that's
How
not-
tall are you?
I am 5'9", and
Okay.
I'm not small. Yeah,
But you
You're
are not
strong.
huge at all.
You're strong.
I know I'm strong, but still, when you're in 6th grade,
Sure. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
I didn't like trim down until 10th grade, so I was not small either. We have this
5'9" with the biggest butt ever.
It was never the butt. There's this picture of me.
I heard this rumor. I don't know.
Stop. No,
I don't know.
it was
I
a
heard a
spare
rumor.
tire in the beginning. I have this dress. I grew up in Pennsylvania, and we had this bush with rhododendrons. So pretty. So it was
So
Easter,
pretty.
and I had this like pastel dress on or something. And there's a picture of my posture. My posture is terrible, and I am not attractive. If I can find it, I'll post it.
Can we put it
I'll try.
online?
I bet my sister has it. And there's just like me like hunching over, and then I have this huge spare tire, and I'm like, that is the worst thing I've ever seen. Those pictures when you're a kid, you're like, oh, cringeworthy. It's not the butt, it's the spare tire around my stomach, Anna.
I just got to say about women friendships and sisters, like I feel like 2019 has been the year of women for me.
Yeah.
Showing up, you
Right.
know, like amazing. And even right now, my sister's visiting for the weekend, and
That's so cool.
you know, it's just amazing. There's nothing like it. And I really do think like the power of just that certain sisterhood feeling. I mean, with my true sister, of course, where it's like, you know, ups and downs, whatever. But like, man, when it counts,
Absolutely.
that relationship is
Show up.
Yeah, and it's unlike any other relationship.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it really is something special. And even like my my sister-in-laws who are younger than me. So I kind of get to have like younger sisters and how special those relationships are to me. And then how girlfriends it is like those tight girlfriends are just as much a sister or, similar to that feeling as my real sister, but yeah. And just like a phone call and people will show up.
Super.
And they're all like women.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it is.
It's powerful.
It is powerful.
Cool.
But then I got to say too, so I was, growing up, I was a definitely tomboy streak. So I had my Tree Fort Club and it was like all boys. I had a bubblegum club.
Can I tell you the story really quick?
Yeah.
We had so my friend Matt and I had a
The turtle guy?
The turtle guy. So we had a secret hiding place. And so we took dues from the neighborhood kids.
Yes.
And buried them in the fort.
Took what?
And then they stole the money and dues. Like we made them pay $1 to come in or something. I can't remember.
Gosh.
And then they stole the money because we buried it in the ground. And his mom was laughing hysterically because he was just like, well, what'd you expect? And we were like, they stole the money. Like, anyhow, sorry.
Guilty.
Yes.
Yeah.
I went to the local like candy store with the dues from my Tree Fort Club.
Oh.
Sorry, Brian
Man,
and Kim.
Y'all
I
were
know,
smart with
so
the
bad.
dues.
Yeah.
We were just like walking around this sewer in front of our house and like, and
That's what happened to you.
Yeah, like talk about being a tomboy. I'm like, we were running through the like sewer pipes and it was just what we did.
Yeah.
It was like so bad. Like,
That's all right.
it sounds so gross and there were like rats and I'm like, they're great. As long as they don't touch me, it's fine. Just, yeah. Yeah, tomboys.
Tomboys, yeah. Join the club.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Tomboys.
On the bikes. I had so many bike crashes.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Home run derby, all-time QB.
Yes.
You?
All-time QB. When you got that in the neighborhood when you're like, I'm
That's
all-time QB.
amazing.
And you never had to play defense. Oh, smart.
That's awesome.
Smart.
Oh,
That's so
that is
awesome.
good stuff. That is
So
good
awesome.
stuff. But even so, I would say so. I think.
Sorry, I got you.
No. I think for me, like I loved guy friends, and for me, a lot of it was about like I did not want drama with a lot of like I was that person. I was like, oh fuck that. Oops, bleep. But like. I was that person of like, oh my God, I would just want to avoid the drama. Guys are so much easier.
Experiences with women or girls at that time, like being dramatic? Is that what made you think that? Or
Oh yeah, probably, and I contributed 100%. I mean, it's like, let's be real here. I'm telling you,
It's usually the one who's like,
I do not have like the prettiest like past of
The competitive part of you.
yeah,
kicked in, Amy.
exactly. So a
gonna
lot of
take her
times it's
down.
like I'll just hang out with the guys,
just stir the pot and then I'm with the guys.
I
Because I've noticed that for myself
I
at
know.
least, usually I say it like when I was a kid or whatever, be like, I don't like drama, and then I'd be the one making the drama.
Oh, I know. I know.
Like,
I know. Yeah. Way to go. Yeah. But in college, one of my closest friends is a guy, and I recently saw him. Well, I guess it must have been like 2 years ago, visiting in Seattle, and I got to meet him for coffee, and I hadn't seen him for a few years, and oh my God, it was the best. It was so good to see him.
Did you still feel like friends?
Yeah, and it was like just the ability to connect, like any old friend, where you have that, like as if no time has really passed and you can just pick up where you left off. But so often for me, that is with a female friend.
Yeah.
But like I got to have that with my guy friend, and we went through some crazy stuff together, when we were in our early 20s. And it was so great. It was so great to have that. Yeah.
So like with your guy friends, do you think that they all want to bone you?
No.
Okay, just gotta ask.
Some people definitely have that theory, though.
Yeah,
like
I
it's
know. That's
impossible
what
to
I'm
have an
saying.
opposite sex friendship because of that.
Yeah.
But
That's
I
why
don't think it is the case.
that's why I had to ask. I'm just playing devil's advocate, reality's asshole. Okay.
we are going to focus in on. There was a book. Published in 2017.
Yes.
Okay. And it is called You're the Only One I Can Tell by Deborah Tannen. And it's about inside the language of women friendships. And I'm just going to read a little bit here. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Best friend, old friend, good friend, BFF, college roommate, neighbor, workplace confidant. Women's friendships are a lifeline in times of trouble and a support system for daily life. A friend can be like a sister, daughter, mother, mentor, therapist, or confessor. Or she can be all of these at once. She's seen you at your worst and celebrates you at your best. Figuring out what it means to be friends is, in the end, no less than figuring out how we can connect to other people. From casual chatting to intimate confiding, from talking about problems to telling what you had for dinner, Tannen uncovers the patterns of communication and miscommunication that affect friendships at different points in our lives. She shows how even the best of friends, with the best intentions, can say the wrong thing, and how words can repair the damage done by words.
I mean, you need to read me a bedtime story.
I know. I'm
just like, lulling me in, Amy.
Thank you.
Lulling me in.
My
Should I keep going with that last paragraph? Drawing on it, is that?
Nah.
Nah, okay.
Yeah. That book, it seems like it'd be a really good one to, to have read right now.
Right. It's great.
Yeah, we would sure be able to talk about it a little bit more.
But it seems like a great idea, Deborah. Thank you.
But for now, we're going to go take a nap.
Right. Amy's going to read us a children's book, and we're going to bed. Good night, Moon.
Yeah, so that's a really good one to check out. Okay, moving on.
Poof. Mic dropped right there. Okay, keep going.
Okay, so there is a crazy story.
Oh, this is good.
Bustle.com says Brits would ditch their BFFs for the right amount of cash. So you really can't buy true love and friendship, or can you? Well, according to a recent research, it looks like the average Brit would ditch their BFF for a cash sum of 131 pounds. Thousand pounds. Thanks. Or 166,599 US dollars. So that is crazy,
It's
right?
crazy.
That seems kind of
That's
low.
crazy. I was going to say that too.
Yeah.
That just doesn't even seem like that much money
Right.
to ditch your BFFs. Like,
Yeah.
how many people did they ask for this
That's
little
a good question.
study?
Scientific study, I bet.
That would be really good
Totally.
to know. Bustle, you know.
Bustle.
Yeah. So
So how much would it take for you guys?
Never. I would never.
Come on.
No.
come on, what's your number?
What's your number? Come on.
Come on. No, really.
No.
What about you, Amy, apparently?
No. No.
No?
I
We're
also,
done, Anna.
I do not have a number. I would much rather have
Priceless.
priceless BFFs.
What's happening?
We haven't been in the studio for a couple
while.
weeks.
It's true.
And Anna was on vacation, and so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so
So-
we're little.
So we had a lot of friend contact
little
for a
giggly.
while, and then we hadn't seen each other for a week and a half, and now this is the first time we're back together. And
Yeah.
It feels kind of like the first one.
It does.
it does feel like a first one.
Slap happy.
We are a little slap happy.
All right. So next topic.
Wow. Okay.
Click.
Clicks.
So what about them? This is the whole Mean Girls thing. So
Do you think the Me Too movement has affected women's relationships?
I do. I think they've made people closer.
I wonder about that too.
Mm-hmm.
It does feel like that movement has shifted some narrative with women.
Say more about that.
I don't know. I just feel like, I mean, a lot of women came together.
Yeah.
Well, because I think that sexual assault happens all the time happens so much. And so when you can share and be like, oh, yeah, I'm not alone in that. Oh, that happened to you too.
Yeah.
Because the statistic on that is so high
Yeah.
that it's super powerful. That's people standing in their truth.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
standing
Yeah.
in their truth, like that's what that looks like. And then that gives everyone else around them strength to also stand in their truth. And
Yeah.
so I do think that it affects people because it's powerful and contagious because that's like real power of like, sure, this thing happened to me, but I'm going to own this
Yeah.
and just be in it. And then someone else is going to be like, yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Yeah.
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 Well,
It's
there's
super
so
powerful.
much like shame around that to like to know that you're no longer like isolated and that you're the only one. It's, yeah.
I wonder, like, the relationship between coming out about all of that. And so kind of shedding the shame. And so then people are maybe less insecure.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's less of that bitchiness that comes out because people are they're being vulnerable, they're being open, they're being honest. And so then that insecurity goes away.
And if you have a real place of connection with someone, you're like, oh, well, you were like this, but then I know this thing about you. And now this horrible shit happened to me too. Like if you can see that in another person, it's kind of hard to then be shitty to them.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Well, and it's like all that surface stuff, like the competitive and ego-driven things, like that just does not even matter anymore. It's like when you can relate on that deeper level.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, that was kind of a random tangent, but I think like I do feel like it has had an impact on the narrative of female relationships.
Absolutely.
Or the narrative of relationships.
I hadn't thought
between
about
women.
that, but it absolutely has.
And
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yes, and how people talk about that, like it's like culturally.
Yes.
It's an entire different movement.
Yeah.
And then it's really the shame thing. Because shame is disconnection. Like you're kicked out of the tribe and that's like a survival thing. And then when you're carrying around that forever.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I don't have to. And then you can shed it. That's powerful.
Yep. And definitely allows people to be open and then able to connect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Right?
It's a good point.
Well,
That's
interesting.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up.
Thanks.
So cliques.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mean Girls. Were either of you in cliques? What do you think about them?
I totally was. I wish I could say I wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was.
I mean,
how was that, Amy?
in elementary school, I remember there were like 13 of us. It was like
Whoa.
13. Oh, yeah. We were tight.
That's a
Wow.
lot.
That is a lot.
Yeah. I don't know. It was our group.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it was
Were you
like,
mean?
Was it only girls or guys too?
I mean, I actually, to be totally honest, like I wonder, like I kind of wonder, ooh, what would they say? Like, what would other people say?
If your Doc Martens could talk, Amy.
A puka
Doc
shell
Martens,
necklace?
thank you so much.
Yeah.
We're in high school. Those green Doc Martens.
Oh, yeah.
That's high school. My mom still has them.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I
should bring them out.
Of course
yeah,
you did.
you did. Black ones, right?
Yeah, of course. Steel toe.
Oh, of course. Yeah, yeah.
Like a frog.
Mine were the high top green Doc Martens.
Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Did you do the thick leather ones with like the holes? Sandals? Are those Doc Martens?
Birkenstocks?
Birken? No.
They like look like basket weave.
Not sure I know about
Basket
those.
Thick plastic sole. I'll have to show you a picture. Maybe they're not Doc Martens.
Yeah, I don't know those, but I did have the green boots.
They sound very cool.
They were pretty cool, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Might have to bust them out again.
Yeah,
You
please.
should.
Oh my God.
You should. Heck yeah.
I don't know if I can.
Right.
Yeah, but anyway, so cliques, like, I think that, yeah.
I think
I
it
don't
varied.
know.
I was with my best friend in high school from 7th grade to 12th grade, and we just had each other, and then we would just be friends with everyone.
Yeah.
And it would. I played 3 sports in high school, and so I would go from hanging out with a whatever team I was more often than hanging out with, but it never was like an exclusive thing. I do remember when I got that feeling from people, it just felt bad.
Yeah.
And it didn't
an
feel
icky feeling to
it's
be
icky.
excluded.
Or just to
They're
not even like
terrible.
purposely excluded, just to not be on the inside track of that. It just does not feel good.
Yeah.
No.
You know what my mom said?
What?
So I'm an identical twin, right? So she says that me and my identical twin have a clique. And I'm like, oh, I'm not trying to exclude
Right.
you.
That's kind of funny, though.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm sorry, Mom. Like, what do I say?
What's your response?
I say, no, we don't.
Yeah.
Definitely reassuring.
Super great with the feelings statements, very validating. I'm just like the best daughter ever. Really hearing her.
There it is.
No, we don't. You're totally wrong.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about.
Indeed.
How can you not have a clique with a twin?
I know. That's
Especially
what
an identical
Identical twin.
one.
Yeah, that's what I'm
That's
saying.
an amazing bond.
Did you ever flop places? Like when the people do that?
Oh, yeah.
I always wanted
I
to.
tried to with the best friend of mine.
Did it work?
No. And I tried to with my sister too in piano lessons.
Uh-huh.
We tried to like psych out the piano teacher.
It didn't work.
Like, why are you here?
Yeah.
Other
Go get your sister.
Yeah.
What's this other kid
This
doing?
is not working. Yeah.
No, I'm Anne. But
Right.
Yeah, sure. It was always so funny though, because people would be like, "I wish I had a twin. I would have her do all my things." I'm like, "That's not how this shit works. You don't know how this works. Let me give you a quick little education about identical twins. They do not do everything you want.
Right.
Wouldn't that be great?"
So the good news is, oh wait, I wanted to say one other thing though
Yeah.
about the male friendships and the male. I really do think that like men who are able to be a little bit more emotionally, who are more emotionally in tune, which is like this friend of mine who I was referring to earlier, he is. And I feel like there are some other, like that makes all the difference.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's really
It's actually it's super super refreshing. When guys
it's
can,
amazing.
like, be okay with like their emotions
Yes.
and like talk about it and just be
Emotionally available. Let's just like practically speaking, how can you extend kindness?
okay. So when you see a woman in need, help her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then I like to raise women up by just like if I see a selfie that someone's posted, I like to like them.
Yeah. It's good.
That was Amy.
It's true. I'm sorry, Anna. I'm not even going to look at you right now. I just can't.
Oh my word.
I think that's true though. Like selfies are just like positive, like super basic, right?
Yeah.
Compliments.
Yeah.
Or when people are doing
Positive feelings.
cool things, or if you
Yeah.
like their overalls today.
Yeah.
Anna.
Yeah.
Super cute.
It's super cute.
Jumper. Another one, when other women talk bad behind someone's back, ask yourself why. Better yet, even put a stop to it.
Yes.
I mean, why? Why? No one needs it.
No one needs
Right?
it at all.
Compliment other women. Recognize achievements. Like Anna said earlier, all ships rise when the tide is high. Where'd that little doozy come from? Good one.
I just made it up. Just kidding. I did not. I did not. That's like old.
Right.
It's good.
Yeah, it's a
I
good
like
one.
it. Share opportunities. So think of community over competition. Get to know her story before you judge. Don't be a catty bee.
Right.
That's what it comes
Right.
down to.
Yeah.
And so there, Abby Wambach, who appropriately for the Women's World Cup right now, has written a book called The Wolf Pack. And so I'm just going to read this little snippet on Amazon because I think it's awesome. And so in the Wolf Pack, Abby's message to women is that we have never been little Red Riding Hood. We are the wolves. We must wander off the path and blaze a new one together. She insists that women must let go of old rules of leadership that neither include or serve them. She created a new set of Wolfpack rules to help women unleash their individual power, unite with their Wolfpack, and change the landscape of their lives and the world, from family room to the boardroom to the White House. So the things she includes are make failure your fuel, transform failure to wisdom and power, lead from the bench, lead from wherever you are, champion each other, claim each woman's victory as your own, demand the effing ball, don't ask permission, and take what you've earned.
So good.
So good. I need to read
Demand
that.
the ball
Demand the ball.
and take what you've earned.
Yes.
I like make failure your fuel.
Yeah. Yes.
So good.
So good. I listened to her on an interview on the Finding Mastery podcast, and she's super powerful and very like focused. And I'm like, oh, she's as serious as I am. Good. I can identify like intensity because it felt good. And she's very like directed, and she's good. It's good stuff.
That's so
That's so great. Thanks for
and
that.
what a badass is that she's the all-time leading
Right.
scorer of
Yeah.
all men and women in
That's
amazing.
so
international
awesome.
play. Yes,
Yeah.
she's amazing.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
check out the book. I need to read that book, but that's good stuff. So
Heck yeah.
that's
So
that's
good.
exactly what we're talking about, where we want women friendships to go.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Thank you. Good. All right. So the nugget that we leave with today, or our awareness challenge, is to smile and try to compliment at least 3 women.
Yeah. That sounds totally doable.
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
Super,
Absolutely.
super doable.
yeah.
Yeah. If you see something good in someone, just tell them.
Yes.
It's as
Yeah.
easy as that.
And see how it goes.
At least 3 people in 2 weeks. Think we can handle
I
it.
think we can handle it.
Yeah.
We're setting the bar really low.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. But if you do it and then see how, I think to up-level that is watch their reactions.
Yeah.
And see how their energy changes when you can see them. And so when you see the person and you give an honest compliment, like that you really see something that you value in her, not, I mean, if you like her hair, great. But like something that, an attribute or like an achievement, and you like authentically, genuinely comment on that, watch how the energy shifts in that person.
So that's a really good idea.
Yes.
To like, what if we change it to make it not a physical compliment?
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
very specific.
So it's
Yeah.
like, oh, like you light up the room or whatever it is, or
Or you were glowing. So today I saw Anna. She came in before you got here, Amy, and I was like, oh, you were like, she talked about, I had introvert time today, but I was like, oh, you had some time to yourself today. I was like, Anna, you're glowing today. And she went like, yeah, illuminated.
oh,
That's great.
yes. Well, so you only have 2 more people to tell.
Yes, 2 more people. 2 more people, right.
You're all, I'm getting shit done. Check 1.
Amy, I loved before today's podcast when we were listening to The House of Pain, Jump Around.
So good.
And you danced with me. Yeah, there we
Anytime.
go. Yeah.
Anytime.
I'll get a better one.
Anytime.
2 people.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I'm just fucking.
You're like, I'm getting mine to
I'm
do
getting
this
my
done.
list is done. Thank you.
Check and check.
Right.
All right. So just a couple special thank yous and acknowledgments. Please make sure you go to lessalonepodcast.com for the show notes and transcript. Also, remember to use the discount code lessalonepodcast for 20% off your first month at weeditpodcasts.com.
Peace.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening. You can find more about this episode and a way to connect to the community at lessalonepodcast.com. And if you like us, don't forget to subscribe and be sure to leave a review. It helps other people find us and could be just what they need.